Hello and welcome to this video tutorial on how to use a Wii U Pro controller with any emulator. Now, a quick disclaimer before I start. From my experiences, this does not work with the Dolphin emulator. I'm not quite sure why, but it doesn't recognize the analog sticks properly. So if you're planning to use it with that, you can try anyways, but from my experiences, it just does not work. Anyways, another disclaimer. If you're going to be using this with the emulator OpenEMU, that actually has something built in that will allow you to use Wii U Pro controllers, so you will not need to download some extra programs that I'm going to show you here, and I will show you how to use with that program at the end of the video, so stay tuned for that. So the first thing you're going to want to do is download this program called WJoy. So you can download WJoy from this website right here. You can find it by typing WJoy into Google, and it will be the first option that will come up. And click this link right here. It'll have the latest version. For me, that's 0.7.1. It will bring you this page, just click this, and it will start downloading. And it's quite a small file, so it should be done quite fast. Now, click on it, and it will open up. Just agree to what it shows here. Once it opens up, you'll see we have the option to take WJoy, the program here, and drag it into applications. Now, I already have done this, so I'm not going to do it now, but you would just drag it over and let it copy. So now that you have WJoy installed, you can now start it up. And you're going to see a lot of messages appear in the top. You can ignore them for now. But if it's working, you should see the WJoy icon appear in your menu bar. So what you're going to want to do now is go to System Preferences, Bluetooth, and before we do anything with the Wii U Pro controller, go to WJoy again and turn on one button click connection. I'm not quite sure what it does, but this doesn't work unless that is on, so just make sure it is on. So from now on in the video, you're going to be seeing a little picture of my Wii U Pro controller in the corner. That's just to show you what's going on there, so you can be sure to do it with your controller as well. So what we're going to do now is on the back of the Pro controller, there will be a red sync button. Press that button, and on your computer, you should see on the top here, Nintendo, RVL, all this. You don't have to worry about what all this means. As long as it says Nintendo, that means it's the controller. So hit pair, and then you might need to give it a few seconds. It's connected, and my remote actually just shook, and you'll see that WJoy has recognized that it's connected. Now, to make sure it works, you have to make sure the 1 is lit up on the controller, or 2, or however many controllers you have connected. Just make sure only one of the lights is lit up, and that means it is working. So what we can do now is close out of here, close out of here, close out of here. So I have a program here called 60Force. It's a Nintendo 64 emulator. So I'm going to open it, and a message is going to pop up. I'll just dismiss that. Now, depending on what emulator you're using, this could be somewhere different. Basically, what you want to find is the way to configure your controllers, or just change any of the buttons or keybinds or any of that kind of stuff. Find where that is on your emulator, and it should come up with an option here, like I do, that says Wiimote. That means it's recognized it. Now, if it says Nintendo and Wiimote, and you have two options, choose Wiimote, because that's the one that WJoy is using. So I'm going to go into here, and I'm going to configure. So what I can do now is I clicked on the A button. Now if I press A, you'll see on my computer it says button number 16. Now that's basically what the computer sees as the A button. It doesn't know it has an A on it, it just sees it as button number 16, but don't worry, that's fine. So I'm going to do the same with all the rest. Now next up is B button. I hit B, there it does, stick up, works, down, left, right, Z, L, R, and I can bind all of the buttons to what they're supposed to be. So let's get this done. There. So now all the buttons are bound, so I'm going to go back here, hit OK, make sure it's enabled. Now let's try running a game. So I have Super Mario 64 here, and so as you can see, that's working. Now if I hit the A button, it actually works. As you can see, the cursor is moving around the screen. When I move the thumbstick, I'll hit start, start a new file. Now, a lot of nothing happens for a little while here, and I can't control anything, so I'm going to cut to when I can control. Okay, so I'm now at a part where I can control. So, let's see. There's a box here, let's see if the A button works. Yep, I'm able to hit the A button, it will go through the messages. and now I can freely run around, jump, punch, do whatever you can in Mario 64, and everything just works just fine. Now, right now I'm hearing a little bit of audio lag, but I think that's just because I'm recording. And once again, I can't do anything for a little while here, so I'll cut ahead. Okay, so I'm back. So everything's just working fine. There's no problems. I can use the D-pad to change. Actually, I'm not quite sure what the D-pad does in this game. I guess nothing. I can use this stick to change where the camera's viewing. I can hit the Z button, make Mario crouch. Now, let's say you don't like how the buttons are bound. For example, maybe you don't like having this button make him crouch. Well, you can change that to whatever you want. Let's say you wanted the Y button. Well, you can go back into your emulator's controller options. I'll hit Wiimote, Configure, and Z button. So in Mario 64, you hit the Z button on the Nintendo 64 controller, and that will make Mario crouch. Now, button 21 is this R button up here. So I'm going to change that to Y. Now, if I go back to the game, you'll see this button no longer does anything, and now when I hit the Y button, Mario crouches. So you can set this up any way you want, and just make it the way the game works, because you got to remember, some controllers, for example, the Nintendo 64 controller, in fact, that's a great example, does not look quite like this. Like, you'll see in the bottom corner here, that's what a Nintendo 64 controller looks like, and it's kind of hard to emulate that with a controller that looks differently. So just change it to a way that you think is good for the game, and hopefully it'll work for you. So as I said in the beginning of the video, OpenEMU actually doesn't need WJoy to run. So as you can see, I have WJoy here. Now, if you look at my controller, the number 1 is lit up. When I hit quit, it's going to go away. Now, the controller actually disconnected from my computer, and you can check this by going to System Preferences, Bluetooth, and you'll see it says Not Connected. To reconnect it, press any button on the controller, the lights will flash, it vibrates, and even though the lights go off, as long as on your computer here it says connected, it's connected. So don't worry about that. Now, in OpenEMU, what you're going to want to do is click on the OpenEMU button, click on Preferences, and go to Controls at the top. Now, you can choose which console you want to set the controls for. For this example, I'm going to do the Super Nintendo. Now, as you can see here, it actually already has recognized my controller, even though WJoy is not open. So I'm going to select that, and I have already set up all the buttons. So what I'm going to do is get rid of everything, so I'll be right back. Alright, so I'm back, and as you can see now, none of the buttons have any controls connected to them. So I'm going to click on up, and once again on my controller, I'll hit the up button. Oh, as you can see, you have to be kind of fast. Now, it can be a little annoying, so there. So for whatever reason, when you hit the up button, it automatically sets down as down. Same with left and right. If you go left, it'll automatically set right as right. I'm not quite sure where that is, so I can do that there. So now you just have to look to see if they're all correct. Up is up, down, down, left, right, all that. Now I can set all the other buttons a lot easier. So select, start, A, B, X, Y, L, and R. So once I have all those set up, I can close out of this window, and since I set that up for a Super Nintendo game, I'm going to open up Super Mario World, which is for the Super Nintendo. So here pops up the thing. So I'm going to hit A, and as you can see, I can navigate through the menus, and it works just fine. So I'll start up a new file. I'll get back to you when I can actually start playing. So I'm in a level now, so let's use this, and as you can see, I can move around just fine. It works just like it's meant to. I can hit A, I'll jump, B. Well, actually, it's kind of backwards. For whatever reason, on the Super Nintendo, the buttons are a little bit backwards, so the B button is usually like the regular jump button, or I know in Super Mario Kart, it's like the select button, or basically it's the A button now. For whatever reason, back then, they used the B button as the yes, select, go, all those kinds of things. So if you don't like that, you can switch them over if you want. So you can make the A button emulate pressing a B button on a Super Nintendo controller and vice versa. But other than that, this works just fine. I can jump, I can move around. Now, one thing you might notice every once in a while, I'm just trying to move, and he's crouched. That's because I'm moving just slightly down. And that can be a bit of a problem sometimes. So you may want to set, instead of having this to be the D-pad, make this the D-pad, because it makes it a lot easier to control. So for now, I'm just going to try and move, and it works just fine. I can use the X button, and I'll start to run. Hit these buttons, I'll jump, and it works just like it would on a Super Nintendo controller. So as I said in the beginning of the video, this does not work with Dolphin, and I'll show you why. Now, you do need to have WJoy open for this to work, otherwise it will not recognize any controls at all. But if you go to GameCube, because the Wii U Pro Controller is shaped much like a GameCube controller, so that'll work pretty well. Now, you have, once again, the option down here of Nintendo or Wiimote. Choose Wiimote. Now, I've already started loading this, so I'm actually going to load up my other one. There we go, Wiimote. Okay, so as you can see, it says A. I'm going to press the A button. Oh, I was too late. The A button. Now it does recognize that, so it seems like it's working for now, because A recognizes button 16, B is button 17, but the problem comes when I move to the sticks. So if I go to the up action and I go up, it's not recognizing it. I'm moving up, however, nothing is happening. Now, if I wave it around a little bit, sometimes it will recognize stuff, but that is definitely not up. And I think X minus means left. However, I get kind of confused when it does things like this, plus minus. I'm not quite sure what that means, because the plus and minus would probably cancel each other out. I'm not quite sure, but it's kind of finicky. That worked okay. Oh, I moved it the wrong way. But yeah, up and down kind of breaks a little bit. And when you do go into game, it doesn't work. You will get quite a few errors. Your cursor will be like moving around the screen all weird. So unfortunately, this does not work with Dolphin. However, if you have any other emulator you want to use it with, it should work just fine. So that was a quick tutorial on how to use a Wii U Pro Controller with most emulators. I hope this helped you, and please subscribe to see more videos like this.